I'm not sure if I made this video or not already, whatever. I just want to give you my 2 cents on Star Wars, how I feel about it. And going back to last year, I think that's what it was. I made a video talking about how I was done with Spider-Man. And yeah, so like I don't really make as many Spider-Man videos as I used to because I know that Sony knows that they're going to use the character as a cash grab. They don't really care about the character anymore. The Ramy days, that's when the character was cared for all around, from movies to games, all that. That's when the character was actually cared for. But now, just like everywhere else in the entertainment industry, he's just used for a cash grab. And another great example for this is Star Wars. Star Wars is just a cash grab now. See, I always talk about how these companies seemingly make these movies for themselves instead of the audience. Because one thing I will say is that see, back in George Lucas days when the fans were fucking talking shit, nostalgia was a heavy thing. Nostalgia is a heavy thing when it comes to the older fans, and if it's not hidden, they're going to be enraged. The same thing happened with that RoboCop remake. That RoboCop remake was a great remake. That's another underrated movie that gets shit on. And since it's a lot different from the original, that's why people hate it. And it it's still a thing today. I always say it like this. It's a remake. It's not going to be just like the original. It's called a remake for a reason. That's what they never get through their heads. But anyways, I wanna start off by saying this. Obi-Wan Kenobi is overrated as shit, bro. Like, people want to say that, oh, Obi-Wan beat Darth Vader 2 times. Well, let's talk about this. The first time, he was literally running for his life the whole fight, literally scared that he was going to get killed. He was running that whole fight. Stop acting like he just straight up beat him. He was running until he got in a good position and Vader got cocky, and yeah, we know what happened after that. Stop acting like he's just all out great. Like, if he's pretty much the Floyd Mayweather of Star Wars. He runs away. And then that second fight, that shit was trash. They honestly, I was shocked that they even did fight in that show. That show was trash. I'll get to that in a second because this show is a part of the show I want to talk about. But anyways, I was losing hope in Star Wars the moment Ray beat Kylo Ren. When Ray beat Kylo Ren, I was literally on the verge of just not watching Star Wars again. And it wasn't just that. The Force Awakens was a visually stunning movie. That's one thing you can't take away from that movie is the visuals. But besides that, everything else sucked. Nothing made sense. Like, you get this chick Ray. She's overpowered as shit from the get go. She knows damn near all the force moves. She don't even need training at this point. Like, what's the point of fighting Luke? What you going to do? Go train him yourself? And at the time, I was 16. I was 16 when that movie came out. Me and my dad was watching it, and we were both like, "What the fuck, bro?" I was arguing. This was I started to get into debates by debating these Star Wars fanboys, and at the time they were making all these excuses. They were saying, "Oh, Kylo Ren was injured. Kylo Ren was this and that. That's why he couldn't beat her." It made so much sense. All that they were making shit up, and then in the later movies, everything that they made up was debunked. by episode 8 and 9. Where in 9, wait, no, I think it was where in 8 it was revealed that he let her win, and they were saying all that bullshit. I ended up being right, and you want to know what these motherfuckers said when that shit happened? Crickets. They didn't say shit. They tried to find more excuses to bring up. Like, I just love when the fanboys, they desperately defend something that proves them wrong every time. And then you expect them to say, "Oh, I'm sorry, you were right." No, they're not going to say that. They will never say that. But I just wanted to bring that up because it was a great moment. I just loved how I just completely destroyed their fucking argument. Maybe maybe not at the time to them, but after those other movies, they went quiet. Anyways, that was the first step off for me. Then, Rogue One drops. I'm like, okay, I'm not really interested in this movie. And then Star Wars Battlefront 2, the game drops. And I started to notice a pattern with this. I was like, we had three female protagonists in a row. What the fuck? So I'm like, okay, whatever. Three female protagonists in a row. And the funny thing about that Star Wars Battlefront 2 game, where we saw that we had to play as a female stormtrooper. Everybody at the time was like, "Oh, I wouldn't be surprised if she defects." And guess what she did? Defect. Like, we saw it coming a mile away. Like, if there's any time Disney Star Wars focuses on a villain, they are going to defect every time. And you know, going on forward, I can't remember what exactly came after that, but actually I think it was The Last Jedi. I didn't really hate The Last Jedi, to be honest with you, but obviously there was some stupid shit in there. I'm not gonna get into that. I honestly didn't really hate The Last Jedi, but I could understand if others did. Then Rise of Skywalker comes out, and wait, I think in between, somewhere around then, Fallen Order came out. That game was mediocre, by the way. It wasn't that great. It was so mediocre. But people want to hype up anything that they can. I played the first level of the second game. I didn't really finish. I want to beat that game before I come with an opinion about it, just like I do for a lot of other shit. But anyways, Rise of Skywalker comes out. That movie was absolute garbage. It's pretty much a big fuck you to the biggest Star Wars fans. Then after that, I was like, I'm done with Star Wars. Then the Obi-Wan Kenobi show comes out, and I'm like, oh, this might be a chance for Star Wars to make a comeback. So I watched that show. Literally, you can go back and watch my review videos. I was excited watching that show, like the first two episodes. But then I remember this so well. Episode 3, Vader comes in. Him and Obi-Wan, it's the fact that him and Obi-Wan interacted with each other that I knew the show was going to be trash. And guess what? It was. Like, bro, like, did you really need them to see each other again? Like, you couldn't wait until the fucking OT? So, and then it's not even just that, like, they full on fight each other. Again, this is Vader was not Vader. I don't like what Disney did with Vader. See, in the OT, Darth Vader was more of a necessary evil. He wasn't just evil just to be evil. Like, this Disney's Darth Vader, like, bro, Vader would not waste his time trying to drag Obi-Wan through that fire. He would just outright kill them. I don't like, and oh my gosh, that's nothing but stalling, just so the hero won't die. And then at the end of that shit show, literally, Obi-Wan has a Rey moment where she's like, "Force, He literally has that moment. He started doing shit that we never seen, and he just straight up beats Vader. And I'm just saying, like, bro, like, when you see him in that Fallen Order game, you're like, oh my god, it's Darth Vader. But when you see him get bitched around by the bigger names, I'm like, how is he so fearsome? Like, I don't fear him. If he's this fucking weak, all I need to do is just call Obi-Wan or Rey or something, and they're going to beat him. Either there or they're going to stalemate. Oh, and Ahsoka too. Ahsoka is the Miles Morales of Star Wars, bro. That character should have been long dead. Like, oh my gosh. Like, the fact that she's been around that long is mind boggling to me. And like, she's not even a good character, by the way. But I'm not even gonna get to that. But just understand, like, she's just there, literally. But when the rebels go to fight the Empire, guess where Ahsoka is? Nowhere. But they want to make it seem like she's always been there, even though at the time she wasn't even. They want to make that character so relevant to the point where damn near. You know what? I'm not gonna do it. But just understand, they're trying to push the character as something more than what she actually was. Anyways, wait, no, actually, fuck it. I also want to say this. You mean to tell me that Anakin had a Padawan he cared about in between episode 2 and 3? Like, fuck out of here, bro. And then no mention of this character at all in the prequel trilogy. Oh, I wonder why. Anyways, after that, like, you get that weak Andor show, then you get I can't remember the show. It might have been Acolyte. I don't really care. But I always say it like this. It does not matter how much the fanboys want to hype something up. You know it's good if it is constantly brought up way after the fact. If it's not brought up at all, if the only time it is brought up just to be trashed, then it clearly wasn't good. But these Star Wars fanboys, they will never wrap their head around that. And on top of that, like, literally Star Wars theorists literally having a heart attack watching these shows. And I'm just saying, like, bro, just go ahead and take Star Wars out your fucking name at this point. Your name should just be Theory now. Like, they're just going, like, they're making all this Star Wars shit just for them. They're not making it for the actual fans. They're making it for themselves. And it's not even just that. It's at the point where Star Wars is just so damaged that it is beyond repair. Like, Carrie Fisher is dead. Like, it's over, bro. It's over. Like, so much was wasted on Kathleen Kennedy's trash trilogy. Like, bro, the whole point of, I'm not gonna do it. But just take it like this. That is the reason why Star Wars is dead to me. They don't focus on writing good stories anymore. They focus on writing weak ass stories with more shit goes into the characters of these stories than the actual story itself. And then the thing about it is that they do so much for the character that the character doesn't really have much to go on because it's not fluid. And then when you put this character into these weak ass stories with other characters, it just seems like two robots talking, like that chicken Acolyte, bro. Bro, I may be tripping, but she had the same face the whole show. It seemed like bro. And then another thing is that I think his name is Soul. I saw he was going to kill that Quaimir, wherever his name is. I saw that he was going to kill him, and she was like, "No, don't do it." And that instantly reminded me of The Force Unleashed, where Starkiller had a chance to kill Emperor Palpatine, and General Cole said, "No, don't do it." I'm like, "What?" Now, Force Unleashed, you can understand why that happened, but you would also ask, like, why did they write that in if it was going to be like that? Because obviously it's going to break canon if Starkiller did kill Palpatine. But like, why did you write that situation in? That's the reason why Force Unleashed isn't canon to me. But anyways, the same applies to Acolyte. Why would you write that in? He has a chance to end this shit right here. But instead he doesn't. Because it's not the Jedi way, even though this fucker still gets killed later on. Oh my gosh. I'm not going to bring up the fact that what's his name was also in the show, even though that literally goes. That's the thing about Disney Star Wars. They have no problem breaking canon. Well, actually, I guess it's not breaking canon if you can actively take things in and out of canon at sheer convenience. But that's just another thing. That it just shows their sloppy seconds. Like that's the universe is heavily inconsistent. They're just doing shit, just do it. Like Force Hill was taken out of canon and then it was brought right back into canon in episode 9 just to bring, you know, Ray back to life and all that bullshit. With Ricky Ray. That shit was so damn stupid. With Ricky Ray, I'm like, bro. Oh, and also one of the funniest things about that episode was when Palpatine was getting electrified by his own lightning. I'm like, okay, so you all you have to do is just stop using your lightning and you will be okay. He just kept using it. I'm like, what the that's that shit, man. But anyways, that's how I feel about Disney Star Wars. That's how I feel about Star Wars in general. This shit is dead now. Like that's the reason why I haven't been making no videos or anything about that shit show. It's over. It's dead. It died with it actually died with that sequel trilogy, but it fully died buried 6 feet under in the coffin with Obi-Wan Kenobi show. That's where it officially died to me. Ever since then, I have been watching no Star Wars. Also, remember this. Remember that one director who said, I like making men uncomfortable. What kind of shit is that when it was mostly men who were fan of the shit?